Welcome to Beyond Borders Briefing, where we bring you the latest news and analysis on the world's most pressing issues. Today, we're going to talk about Ukraine, a country that has been fighting for its independence and sovereignty against Russia's aggression for more than 6 years. On August 24, Ukraine celebrated its 30th anniversary of independence from the Soviet Union, but also marked 18 months of Russia's full-scale invasion that began in February 2022. How did Ukraine celebrate its Independence Day amid the ongoing war? What are the challenges and prospects for peace in the region? And what role does the international community play in supporting Ukraine's struggle? Let's find out. Ukraine's Independence Day is a national holiday that commemorates the adoption of the Declaration of Independence by the Ukrainian parliament on August 24, 1991, following a referendum in which more than 90% of Ukrainians voted for sovereignty. The declaration was a response to the failed coup attempt by hardline communists in Moscow that aimed to preserve the Soviet Union. Since then, Ukraine has faced many difficulties and transformations, including economic crises, political turmoil, corruption scandals, social movements, and external threats. But perhaps the most serious challenge has been Russia's interference and hostility, which escalated into a hybrid war in 2014. When Russia annexed Crimea and supported separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine. The conflict in the Donbas region has claimed over 14,000 lives and displaced more than 1 million people. Despite several ceasefire agreements and diplomatic efforts, the fighting has continued sporadically, with violations and casualties reported almost daily. In February 2022, Russia launched a massive military offensive against Ukraine, breaking the fragile truce and violating Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Russia deployed over 100,000 troops, tanks, artillery, and aircraft along the border and in occupied Crimea, and unleashed a barrage of rockets, missiles, drones, and cyberattacks on Ukrainian positions and infrastructure. The invasion sparked a global outcry and condemnation, as well as expressions of solidarity and support for Ukraine from many countries and organizations. The United States, the European Union, NATO, and other allies imposed sanctions on Russia and provided military and humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. They also called for an immediate end to the aggression and a peaceful resolution of the conflict based on international law and the Minsk agreements. However, Russia has ignored the international pressure and continued its assault, aiming to destabilize and subjugate Ukraine. According to the Pentagon, the war has caused more than 500,000 casualties, including civilians, soldiers, and mercenaries. Ukraine has lost control of about a third of its territory, including major cities like Kharkiv, Mariupol, and Odessa. The humanitarian situation has deteriorated dramatically, with millions of people facing shortages of food, water, medicine, and electricity. Despite the overwhelming odds and losses, Ukraine has not given up its fight for freedom and democracy. On August 24, Ukrainians celebrated their Independence Day with pride and defiance across the country. In Kyiv, residents paraded destroyed Russian tanks and other military hardware along the main street as a symbol of their resistance. President Volodymyr Zelensky took part in a solemn ceremony at St. Sophia Square, where he handed flags to commanders of military units that have distinguished themselves in combat. Zelensky also delivered a speech to the nation, in which he praised the courage and sacrifice of the Ukrainian people and armed forces. He vowed to continue defending Ukraine's independence and territorial integrity until every inch of land is liberated from Russian occupation. He also expressed his gratitude to the international community for its support and urged it to increase its pressure on Russia to stop the war. Zelensky said that Ukraine's independence is not only a matter of national interest but also of global security and stability. He said that Ukraine is fighting not only for itself but also for Europe and the world against Russian aggression and expansionism. He said that Ukraine is a bastion of democracy and human rights in the face of authoritarianism and tyranny. He also said that Ukraine is not alone in its struggle but has many friends and partners who share its values and aspirations. He said that Ukraine is part of a wider community of nations that respect each other's sovereignty and dignity. He said that Ukraine is ready to cooperate with all countries that are willing to help it achieve peace and prosperity. He concluded his speech by saying that Ukraine's independence is not only a historical fact but also a future vision. He said that Ukraine's independence is not only a statehood but also a state of mind. He said that Ukraine's independence is not only a dream but also a reality. That was President Zelensky's speech on Ukraine's Independence Day. What do you think about his message? Do you agree with his assessment of the situation and his call for action? Let us know in the comments below. And that's all for today's episode of Beyond Borders Briefing. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more news and analysis on the world's most pressing issues. See you next time.